Okay.
For those who
1, 2, here, let's go back.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
You'll never have the sacred stone.
Oh, this you crazy mother.
What's going on, guys? Welcome to the Child of Mecha live stream. I'm your host, Tim, the one and only Child of Mecha. And it feels like I haven't seen you guys in like a week. Anyway, so tonight, we are going to continue work on the GM Spartan. So the reason why we're working on the GM Spartan is basically because I don't want to snap kits on stream. Just boring, right? So figured I'd do something more entertaining with the streams until we get to the point where I can actually start real interesting work on GBWC 2019. Okay? So that's what we're going to be doing. Now, I know, let's see, who asked? I think, yeah, Julius Demsky wanted to know, hoping some kits arrived today. Actually, some kits arrived last week. Just a few, though. Just a few. So, busy snapping and stuff like that. I finished snapping the Sazabi. I'm snapping one of the high grades that I got. I'll show you that on some other stream. I'm not going to show it to you right now. But kits are starting to come in, and that's exciting. That's exciting. That means I can start really kind of getting the gears turning on the GBWC 2019, right? So, for those of you that guessed, the Mecha shirt. Just, classic, right? Classic. Let's see. Is that a Gray's Custom in the back? No. What, up here? There? No, that's the original Barbatos. But thanks for playing. Anyway, so we're gonna work on that. We might actually, I think we might start with a little bit of Jesta work, Jesta parachute work, because the Jesta is done, completely done, but work still needs to be done on the base. I still need to hang the Jesta from the chutes. All three chutes are hung on the support arm at this point, and I just need to make couplers for the magnetized connectors. So I think that's what we'll start with tonight. I think so. And then if we'll switch over to the GM Spartan after that. So hopefully it shouldn't take too long. But as always, guys, if you want one of these awesome shirts or hats or bags or whatever, hit the Child of Mecha store, www.childofmecha.com. Hit the store button at the top. Like I said, you'll see shirts, you'll see hats, you'll see bags, you'll see other stuff in there. Go get you some. As always, if you're interested in any of the tools, materials, or things like that we are working with tonight, hit the Amazon link just below on YouTube and on Twitch. This side, if you're watching on Facebook, it's all in there. It's good stuff. And we've got some video stuff, streaming stuff, if you're into that. And then also the books for inspiration, if you need some ideas to get you going. So some great books in there. What else? So last week, I was on with those Gundam guys on Wednesday. So we did that instead of the normal stream. That was fun. I had fun with those guys. I always have fun with those guys. And then Friday, I just had something come up, family thing. Wasn't like an emergency or anything. Just kind of had to hang out with them. So yeah. So this week, hopefully it's back to normal. Hopefully we can get some work done this week and really start to, kind of get things going here. So, where's that leave us, right? So, like I said, I finished snapping this big boy, and this thing is huge, like a lot bigger than I thought it would be, right? Finished snapping him, so that's ready to go, ready for bashing and parts and stuff like that. And just for comparison, if you guys have never built a Sazabi Verka, this is the comparison. This is a Hayaku Shiki 2.0, and you can see the size difference. Char really upgraded after the Shiki, I'll tell you. So yeah, so that bad boy is done. It's a good kit. Well worth the price tag. This thing is heavy too. Like, this thing is a chunk of plastic. I can't say enough good things about it. Everything that everyone has ever said about it, completely true. Completely true. So, but he will not finish his life as a Sazabi Verka. He will finish it as something else, something cool. So yeah, so this big boy, he's getting put to the side here, out of the way. Stay. Anyway, we'll put the Shiki over here too, off to the side, and then let's see. Let's get to work, shall we? I think we should. To camera. There we go. All right, so the parachutes. Like I said, I got all three parachutes hung on the support arm, right? I'm gonna put this over on the other side because I don't want to mess it up. So let's bring this into frame real quick. Let's show you where we are, because it's looking pretty damn good, if I do say so myself. Now, obviously, this is going to be too much. Yeah, it's going to be too much for the overhead camera to really handle. So we're going to just do that sort of thing. So these are just kind of hanging here, right? So you've got two little support arms coming out from the main support arm. These are holding these two, and then this one under here is just mounted from underneath, and this one is just hung in there with a little magnet. So some magnets up in there. It just pops in, easy removal, the whole 9 yards. So we're going to be working with this parachute this evening to start off with, and we're going to make hopefully make some couplers and see what we can come up with, right? So, this couple says, wait, you have to attach you have them attached to the frame arm? Yeah. Time to undo all of that to take pictures outside. It's not actually that hard. It's all removable, and it's all very, very easy to take apart. So nothing about hanging the parachutes is permanent. And I designed it in such a way that it could travel super, super easily, right? Because, let me remind you guys, this is Plan B for GBWC this year. If for some reason I don't get Plan A done, which could be a possibility because it is very ambitious, this is always Plan B, and I think it's a hell of a Plan B at this point. So I think we'll be in good shape. But yeah, all of these come off super, super easy. Let's bring it back into frame so I can kind of show you. So there we go. All right, so these support arms here, these caps just slide off, and then obviously the damn parachute comes with it, I guess, right? But no, these these damn things. Let's see. Let me get these untangled here, and I'll show you guys how they work. So basically what we've got is we've got a little support piece here, a little round piece that supports the actual parachute, and then we've got this bar here that slides into the support arm here, and then there's a slot cut underneath of here. Same with this cap. The cap slides on. Bada boom, bada bing. Easy. Easy, easy stuff, right? So, pull all that out. And this one pops right out the same way. Slide these out there. And then you've got the free chutes. Wunderbar! Alright, put that off to the side here for a moment or two. Yeah, scuffle, I know. I had to, you know, Josh had a great idea about shooting this thing outside, shooting up at it, and, yeah, I think that's a good idea, and I think that's what's going to happen. So, I'd like to get that done. So, yeah, that'll happen. That'll happen. Kenneth Sim says, Tim, the parachute wires will be normal copper/steel wires, or you'll be using something different? No, these, let me show you here what I'm using. Let's switch to camera 2 so you can get a better glimpse of it. So, this stuff right here, this is the stuff that I'm using, this Betalon, right? And what it is, it's about half millimeter wide, and it's a strand of 7 steel wires encased in a vinyl wrap. And this stuff is great. I mean, it's all steel wire, just like you would see on a rigging wire. So that's what we're using, and it looks the part. It really, really does look the part. So I'm really happy with how that came out, and it's insanely strong. The wire itself, it's not going to break anytime soon, and it's going to fully support anything that I hang from these parachutes. So super confident in that. Let's see. Why aren't all 3 chutes attached via magnets? Oh, I didn't have to. And this was easier, quite honestly. The magnets, I worry that I would worry that the magnets would be under too much strain and that they would fail, right? The magnets inside the Jesta are one story, but the supporting everything else at that point, yeah, I don't know. I don't think that it would support very well, even with the highest strength magnets. The one that I do have supported by magnets, there's 4 magnets stacked on top of each other to increase the pull. And then there's one in the cap section that goes up into the support arm. So that's super nice and stable. But the other ones, you know, you have to orient the magnets in such a way that the polar direction is, you know, shooting down, right? So with these kind of tube extension arms off to the side, that would have been really, really hard. So having a, you know, hard mount system, it works so much better. Works so much better. So yeah. So that's why I designed it the way that I did. And it's very, like I said, it's very modular. It's very easy to you know, take apart, reassemble the whole 9 yards, and I can travel with it. So yeah, there we go. Booyah. Scuffle says, could have made the chute magnets electromagnets, and then when you turn off the stand, the Jesta falls. I wouldn't want to do that. Why would I do that? Nah. Nah. All right, so let's see. Okay, so here are the little support little attachment hard points, right? So these all have magnets encased on the underside of each one. This one is an N52. This is the main support, this little round one. Let's get you zoomed in a little bit so you can see what I'm talking about a little bit more here. So this one right here, this little N52, that's going to be supporting the better portion of the weight in the Jesta. These 2 shoulder-mounted ones, unfortunately, are only N42s. These are a little bit weaker than this big boy here. But this has a pretty good amount of pull strength. I think this was like 1.5 to 2.5 pounds. So I don't think the Jesta weighs anywhere near that, to be honest with you. And then each of these, and there's 2 of them, each of these weigh, you know, has a pull force of, I think, around 1 pound each. So all totaled, you're looking at 3, potentially 4.5 pounds, anywhere from 3 to 4.5 pounds of pull force. So I'm very, very confident. Actually, I know that these will hold because we've done hold tests on the Jesta before, and yeah, these hold like butter. So easy peasy. Hey, Rob Ponte, Gundam Taz is over there on Facebook. What's up, Robbie? And so that's what we're gonna try to get into tonight. We're gonna try to get some couplers done here. So what we've got the ends of all the rigging lines stuffed into this plastic tube, right? So to couple these up, obviously, we're going to need a sleeve to go over top of this, and I think this is the right diameter. Yeah, it is. Okay, cool. So what we need to do is devise a solution to couple this with a couple strands coming out and then holding on to one of these guys. Focus camera. There we go. So that's what we're going to be trying to do tonight, right? So let's see. Rob Ponte, Gundam Tazzy says, I'm hiding from evil bosses. Nice. Nice. Always a good way to spend the Aussie afternoon, right? Let's see. Andrew Young says, you know what would have been cool? Make it airborne like the egg attack floating Iron Man, have it in midair just floating with the chutes out. Andrew, where have you been the last few months? Because that's exactly what we're doing. The Jest is going to be hanging in midair with the chutes out. So, unless you had something else in mind, I don't know, man. Anyway. So, what we need to do is we need to get some strands of this wire going here. And let's see. I think that should be enough here. Snip that down. We got a nice little strand of steel cable here, right? And what we need is a tube just big enough to fit these into. Let's see. I think this is the same. Yeah, that's the same diameter of that. All right. So, do I have anything thinner? Anything thinner? That might work. So I've got this really thin plastic tube right here. 2.3 millimeter wide. I think that will work pretty nicely. And that slots in there, and then this will be coupled with this one with the chute. Yes. Yes. There's our solution. There it is. All right. So what we need to do first, we need to pluck a little support point off of here, and we need to thread this line through there. And actually, before we do that, we need to kink this so it looks a little bit more natural, right? Because we want this thing to have an illusion of scale, like we always do. So when if we kink this wire a bit, it will look like it's more taut on the support point, right? So get our pliers here and just kind of pinch that. Really kind of get that folded just like that. That kind of stretch that back out a little bit, and then now once we thread that on there, it doesn't look half bad, but I think we can do another one. I think we can do one more little fold in this. And then have two little kinks in there. So basically we're, on camera. So basically we have like a little square end on this thing, right? So that's what we're gonna do. He's referring to it levitating via magnetic repulsion. Yeah, no. Sorry, little Andrew. That ain't gonna happen. Alright, so there, yeah, I think that is a good look. Because now that looks like it's taut. And that, yeah, just like that. That's what we want. Okay, cool. So now we need to get a little piece of this cut. And when you're working with, you know, a tube this small, it's best to just kind of roll it with your hobby knife, just like this. There we go. Just like that. So just a little itty bitty piece, right? So now what we'll do, we've got to cut these ends off here. And then these two will slide nicely into that tube. And then there you have a nice connection point, right? Just like that. Easy, easy stuff. Now, before we lock this into place, I want to shape this up and clean it up a little bit because it's not right now. It's very jagged and it's not even. So, do a little sanding here. Flatten this guy out. And we're actually gonna take the file to this guy here. Alright. And then what we'll do to finish off the look is we'll just bevel the edges ever so slightly on one side, because the other side is going to be coupled inside another tube, so we don't have to bevel that so much. Alright, just a little bit of hand beveling here, right? Even it up with the sanding block. We just kind of slowly rotate that around and get a nice even bevel on that. Alright, so there we go. Nice. So that will be the facing section here that people will see. Slide these two wires there. Now we can lock this thing down and get it nice and secure. But before we do that, we need to protect this hard point. So get a little masking tape out here, wrap this bad boy up, and I'll show you why I need to protect this thing in just a second. Let's get this applied around the wire here. Okay. Alright, so now to lock this in, what we're going to do, use our good friend super glue, right? And we will add a drop right there. Capillary action is going to pull that down into the tube. Second drop for good measure. And now this thing, in just a few moments, this thing will be locked in and this coupler will not be going anywhere. Then at that point we can trim off this excess and start the actual coupling process with the larger size tubes, right? So that's the short and skinny of it. All right, so now we got to do that a few more times here. And let's do some measuring because we didn't do that before. Let's see, that'll work. This looks about 5 millimeter. That's 5 millimeters exactly. Okay, set that off to the side. This is the one I'm looking for. Okay. Little bastard file action to really get this nice and flat, right? All right. Excuse me. Let's see. Hey, There's Dean. He's keeping parts track, people. Watch out. Scuffle says, man, I wish there was a cone-shaped sanding tool similar to a pencil sharpener to bevel tubes. There actually is. I forget who it's by, but it's a very obscure Japanese company. They have them on what is it? Hobby Search. Yeah, I've seen them. I don't need it, right? Bailey says, congrats to Freddie and Gizmo on their wins at Sprewfest this weekend. Yes, I saw that. Congratulations, boys. Let's see. Scuffle, sorry, man. That Kickstarter. Yeah. They already got that tool out there. Sorry, buddy. It's a good idea, though. Don't get me wrong, it's a good idea. Let's get this a little bit more flat here. Nash Hannah, I'd buy that for $1. Nice. Dean says, Tim, is the Hummingbird based on the Hummingbird from Gundam Sentinel? Yes, loosely. So the way that I had thought about the Hummingbird was that the Hummingbird that we're also familiar with, the Kotoki line art, the red and white one and the blue and white one, all of that, those seem to be more like prototypes, right? Very lightly armored, especially in the shoulders and the waist and things like that, right? So my version is kind of a more refined, practical use version of the Hummingbird. It has shoulder armor. The mounts for the boosters are more robust. There's armor along the the mid section and things like that. Yeah, so it's just for me it's just a more armored up, refined version, like a later version of the Hummingbird. So yeah, so it is loosely based on the one from Gundam Sentinel. So there you go. Let's see. R4 says it's pretty kinky in here tonight. And then Captain Weirdbeard says Tim tends to do that to a group of nerds. It's a talent, really. I put it on my resume and everything. So there you go. Scuffle says, Tim, you are the breaker of dreams. Sorry, man. Andrew Young, dream breaker and heartbreaker. You got that right. You got that right, son. All right. 5mm, that's what we need for the next coupler. So let's get this thing cut and going. I don't want to anger Dean tonight and not get work done. All right there looks good. And we just roll this kind of back and forth just like this, right? With a tube this small in diameter, you want to be kind of careful. You don't want to crush it. But then also something this small is not going to really fit in a tube cutter, even like a miniature tube cutter, which I have right here. This one is HDX. That's Home Depot version for those of you playing at home. And even at the lowest, this tube will just slide basically right through. Yeah. See, look, just back and forth, slide right through. So there's no gripping power, and this is completely, the wheel is completely bottomed out. So this this tube is way too small for that. So then you have to cut it by hand, right? Which, not really a big deal. So we'll get the bevel going in this, start that. Take these corners down a little bit. Then we'll finish it off here in a second with the sanding block. Oh, What was that? What was that? Did you guys see that? Might have been a stray Justa. Might have to rewind it, freeze frame it, and then blow it up. I will show you guys that more at a later date, though. I promise. Promise. I just like to tease. Because after all, I am a dream breaker and a heartbreaker, right? According to Andrew. All right. So that one looks good there. We're gonna get another strand of this kick-ass metal wire. Ruh-roh, what's going on here? Oh, weird. Huh. Very odd. Okay. So my chat program was working, but now it doesn't seem to be working properly. What the shit? Ah, okay. It's a little slow. Little slow. That's fine though. Not a big deal. Andrew's a little slow. So, what are you gonna do? All right. So we're gonna try a different method for bending this this wire here. We're gonna use the flat-nosed, these kind of pliers. These are just flat pliers, right? And we're gonna fold this down, and then we're going to fold that over the other side, and let's see how that works. Grab that other side. Just like that. There we go. Nice. That's what we're looking for. Captain Weirdbeard, he likes to tease a group of kinks. What's up today? Nice. Nice. R for Andrew 2. Dang, that just a tease. Yeah, well. You guys will see it soon-ish. Alright, so now, let's see. Yeah, that looks good. That looks pretty good. I like it. Alright, so now we've got to snip the ends off just a bit to even them up. And we'll pop our coupler on here. Now obviously these couplers are not going to stay white. These are going to get painted, so everything will have to get masked, and then I'll have to go through the tedious process of wiping down the support, you know, the rigging, with a bit of alcohol to kind of take whatever paint is on there. You know, you can just kind of scrape it off with your fingernail very easily, and it all just comes off because, like I said, it's a vinyl wrap, and vinyl, for those of you guys that don't know, just does not take this type of paint very well, right? So, and that's not gonna, oh, that is gonna focus. Wow, look at that. That's crazy, right? So the green obviously got onto this strand and all of the other strands of rigging, and like you can see, it just scrapes off, right? But using alcohol will probably be a lot easier. So there's that. That's what we got to do later on. Not on the stream, but it's what I got to do. It's what I got to do. Let's see. Edwin RSA. What's up, Edwin? So Tim is the new Heartbreak Kid. I like that. That's kind of cool, right? A Schultz. What's up, Arcana Tier over there on Facebook? It's a Gundam sales for those of you playing at home. Get all your Facebook ordering cool ass kit and stuff needs from Ace or Conatir over on Facebook. Didn't do the Sazabi for GBWC. That's why you're a home wrecker, which breaks everything. Hopes, dreams, and wallets. Nice. Captain Weirdbeard or Kink was too much for the chat. Yeah. A Schultz, no king shaming. Jesus. A Schultz says, hit Andrew in the face with a shovel, like little Nicky. Andrew says, wow, aggressive. Right? Just a bit. Just a bit. Alright, let's get this thing mashed before anything else escalates here. Wow, aggressive. Real though. Alright, you know what? I'm gonna try not masking this thing and see what happens. Pull this down into position. And drop super glue in there. That looks pretty good. Ooh, not on camera. There we go. Let's do one more drop for good measure. Cool. And that's actually not seeping through, so I'm pretty happy with that. So we're going to put that off to the side. Let's make the third one here. Let's flatten this. Oh, let's do the other side. Line that up. Right about there. Ooh. Popped out at me. What's going on? All right. Let's take the corner off this guy. Oh, you guys. So, exciting, little bit of exciting thing. I'm excited about it. For those of you that don't know Mr. Corey DeYonker, Links53 on Instagram and on Twitch, he does, you know, cool little kind of chibi artwork and stuff like that. I know that Freddie from those Gundam guys has gotten some cool commissions done by him. And so what I did was I commissioned Corey to chibi up the Hummingbird. So I'm pretty damn excited about that. I really like Corey's work, and met him out there at SCGMC. Seemed like a really, really good dude. And I'm really looking forward to getting that little piece of artwork. So I'm psyched about it. Psyched about it. So for those of you guys that don't follow Corey, Links53, go follow him. He makes some cool kick-ass artwork, right? Kick-ass artwork. Let's see. Is there an easy way to remove super glue from your fingers without filing off a layer of skin? Yeah, just let it it'll slowly kind of crack, and just kind of keep, you know, scratching at it with your fingernails, and that's the easiest way that I've found out. So yeah. Anywho, CA glue remover is for pansies, Andrew Young says. Wow. Nice. Run under hot water. Yeah, that's a kind of another way to do it. Yeah. Daft Robo, what's up, Shane? Thank you for watching, buddy. Acetone. Yeah. Yeah. No, acetone, like for like if your wife, girlfriend, significant other, mom, aunt, grandmother, whoever you live with, whatever basement you dwell in, they probably have some sort of nail polish remover. Use that, and that'll make quick work of it too. So perfectly fine on on the skin. So yeah. Eat the glue. Only Andrew would eat the glue. I think he's eating the glue right now. Oh my. Lil Andrew, everybody. Lil Andrew. Lil Andrew, are you drunk? Let's answer that question. I mean, it is Monday, right? Would you be drunk on a Monday? Eat the glue. Do you guys think Andrew would be drunk on a Monday? I mean, it is super cold outside, and so there's probably nothing to do. Nah, I have an 8 a.m. tomorrow. Oh, I'm sorry. You're gonna be freezing your butt off tomorrow, buddy. For those of you guys that don't live on the East Coast, we are going through a very cold day. Here in Maryland, where I live, we usually average probably in the 40s right now. 40s, sometimes 30s when it's kind of really cold, and on occasion maybe in the 20s, maybe, but that's like once in a blue moon. The high today was 17 degrees. Fuck that. Ugh. I've been cold like all day long. It's just really bad. And then for those of you guys living in Australia, I hate you. Or in California. Hate you guys too. Just because you have nice weather all the damn time. Okay. Alright, last of the connection points here. Let's get this thing threaded up. And there it is. Looks good. Andrew Young, it's -5. Oh, screw that noise. Jesus. You're going to be freezing your little nipples off tomorrow, buddy. Glad I don't have to go out in this shit. For those of you that don't know, I work from home. Okay, now, these two, whoops, we have to try and get similar, without them magnetizing to each other, a similar length on this. This needs to come down right about there. Perfect. Matched. Nice. I like it. I like it. So that will be nice and solid. Let's get another drop of super glue in there because you guys can see that once that cures, that'll be really nice and solid. Alright, shit. And we're going to put these over here on the light, the arm here of Foley light, just to get them out of the way so we don't magnetize anything else and screw them up, right? So, all right, so that's enough with the couplers. Good stuff there. That's done. That was a task in and of itself. So now we're going to switch gears. We're going to go over to the Spartan. We're going to revisit him and see what we got going on there. So let's get a little zoomed out there. Super glue out the way. And I think what I want to do tonight is continue working on the shoulders, because these shoulders are basically the toughest part so far. Just getting the right shape and thickness of plating on the shoulders. There it is. All right, where's the top? Top. Where did the damn top go? I just had it before the stream, so I know it's in here. Ah, there it is. All right. So we're going to put that off to the side here. So here's basically what we've got going here. And let's get zoomed back in so you guys can see what I'm talking about. This is where we are kind of so far with these shoulders, right? Let's get this one back into assembly here. Now, quick tip, when you're doing custom work, kind of like this, it's important to make sure, let's see, where, so there's that, this one here. Okay, so it's important to keep your parts sorted, right? So what I mean by that is if you're doing something like this, right, where these pieces need to be kind of mirrored of one another, right? So these shoulders here need to mirror these shoulders here and vice versa. So what I do, and this is kind of a quick tip here, is mark your pieces on the inside, right? So let's get super zoomed so you guys can really kind of see what I'm talking about here, because it is a little bit harder to see just straight zoomed in. Okay, so let's see, where is it? There we go. So as you can see, little hole right there that I drilled in, and then another one on the opposite side drilled in, right? So now what I'll do is the pieces that I form on this shoulder, little hole there that I drilled in, and where is it? That's not the one. This is the one. And a little hole there that I drilled in. So now I know that these three pieces here go together, and then that these three pieces here also go together. You keep these straight, everything is good with the world. They all fit together like they should, right? So, and then even also on the underside, there's a little hole drilled in there, or is it this one? No, it's the other one. Cool. I was right the first time. So you've got that going there, and these will be uniform all the way around, and then you won't get your parts switched out when you go to paint and you're not exactly sure which one goes where. Well, there you go. You've got them marked, and ready to go. In some instances, I've taken you know, a scriber just like this, just a general purpose scriber, and I've scribed in like an X, you know, on the inside there. Whatever. Mark your pieces. If you're doing custom work, mark your pieces so you know where they go. Right? Easy tip. Easy tip. And just a tip. Bok bok. Alright. So now, let's do a little bit of trimming here on these pieces because we need to scale these back. Because we need to make this shoulder look like that. Right? So we need to have these pieces, you know, kind of protrude. That's why there's a second plate here. This is actually, where everything else is 1 millimeter, this is coming off this side and this top bevel at 2 millimeters to give it more, you know, to give it a little bit more length in the shoulder, right? And then also, since we have the, it's not on, where is it here? Since we have the vent protruding out, the new vent, where is it? Where is it? We need to compensate for that because that's not the stock vent that you know, came with it, which was very short, by the way. Here it is. Again. Little hole just to make sure we got the right parts together, right? Because no matter what, no matter how much you try to make these things perfect mirrors of one another, there's always going to be a little, just a little bit of tolerance, just a little bit of just play between the different parts, right? So if you use the same parts throughout your build with one another, then there's not going to be that that weird tolerance or anything like that. They're going to be perfectly matched the whole time, right? So that's what I do. So quick tip. Anyway, RF Aurora, yes, used to like shoveling snow, but can't do anymore. Yeah, I hate shoveling snow. It sucks. Andrew Young, why is there RX Verka shoulders in the box? Just because I felt like it. I was playing around with them before that, and they're just in the box. So I'm not going to use them for this particular project. So yeah. Bailey says, Tim, I just figured out making a jig would solve a problem here. There we go. Let's see. R4 Scuffle, I understand that. I haven't been able to eat the harder foods in about 2 weeks. Yuck. Sorry about that. Been on liquid and soft foods, and the doctors can't tell me why. Well, that sucks. R for Andrew Young, he's probably using them to learn copy a detail to the Spartan shoulders. Oh, yeah, no. Like I said, the RX shoulders, like Andrew was talking about, these are actually GMC shoulders. These are, I like these shoulders. I like them a lot, but and I wanted to see kind of how maybe they would stack up look-wise with the GM Sniper 2 shoulders, and they're a little short, obviously. So yeah, they just wouldn't work out. So they're just sitting in the box. No rhyme or reason to it. They're just in there, plain and simple. So, all right, enough talking. Let's get to trimming this these pieces of plastic down. All right, so let's start with the heavyweight nippers here. We're going to trim down a bunch there. We're going to do the same thing to this side. Just like that. Looks good. And then let me see. Because the geometry on this particular shoulder can be, it will be kind of tricky, right? Because let's refer to the line art here. And this is always, since I've started building this has gotten me kind of wrapped in circles here, trying to make this shoulder look like this, right? Because the main points of this shoulder, you've got this kind of add-on piece that, you know, slots down onto the existing stock shoulder, right? Now, the geometry of the actual kit, the actual GM Sniper 2 kit, is much different from the geometry in this pretty line art, right? So, you know, you do have to kind of take some artistic freedom with how to interpret this shape into actual plastic. The main things that are somewhat problematic, this vent here, and then this kind of you know, cowling kind of lip, if you will, here on the shoulders. So basically what I have to do now is go back, plate this middle part up with 1mm plate, and then have that hang off, have a little hangover of it right here, and then we're going to obviously need to bevel that in with the existing pieces there, right? And we're going to have to somehow tie that all together, and that's where all of the trial and error comes into play, and just kind of patting that shoulder up and plating it up and getting all of those weird angles to meet at a happy medium. So that's part of scratch building, man, and that's part of customizing. You have to figure these things out, right? So cheers to that. Excuse me. So, time check. 11 o'clock. Sweet. We've been at this an hour. We got some stuff done. So, let's start to trim this piece here. Now, I kind of like where that is thus far. Let's do a level check here with our sanding block and see where we are with this. Yeah, see, I kind of like where that is. That's all kind of falling on the same, level there, right? We might need to pad some of that up that I trimmed off there. We'll do that at a later date. So let's kind of flush these pieces up here. Let's get the good old bastard file out here. Right? And we're going to actually have to pad that up a little bit more than I had wanted. But that's not a big deal. Let's continue. Where are the other zippers? Here they are. Let's continue trimming this excess plastic off here. Okay. All right, so we've got a lot of the plastic strip, we've got a lot of that clipped off with the nippers. Now we have to go back and really kind of finely trim this up and match the surfaces a little bit. So for that, just a good old regular hobby knife, we're just going to start cutting it, just trimming this back a little bit. So this is a slow, tedious process. And this you have to really kind of be careful on. You don't want to try to take off the whole thing. You don't want to try to trim this whole piece at one tick. You want to kind of nibble away at it and really sneak up on it. And then that way you don't overcut or make some sort of weird error. Okay, that looks good. nice and flat. There's a little bit of air bubbles that I see right there on the seam, so we'll have to fill that in at a later date, but again, not a big deal. Little drops of super glue on there, that'll fill that in nicely, and you'll never ever see it. Okay, good there. All right, last side here, and get that there. Okay. And now for this top piece, since there are two bevels here, there's an angled bevel here and there's a flat surface on the top there, we're going to do a little needle file action here and really just kind of match those angles perfectly with that strip of styrene here. That looks good there. Let me flip this over. Yeah, there's a little protrusion up there. Coming back, just kind of snip that off. Then get that flush with the file. And we'll come back in with our sanding block. Really get that nice and just dead ass flat. Now, a couple things that you're going to see here. Obviously, there is a bit of a gap right here that we're going to have to fill in. Not a big deal. And then also too, what I'm probably going to have to do is come back and backfill this area in here with either plastic or epoxy putty or something like that, just to flatten that out and make that look good. But as of now, that looks fairly good. We're going to have to, like I said, we're going to have to shore up these edges here. So I trim that back just a little bit too much, so probably going to have to laminate a little bit of plastic onto there just to get that nice and even. But let's do a little bit of comparison shots here. That's not half bad. That angle right here is starting to match this angle here. These angles are starting to match in there. I like that. I do like that. I like that a lot. Cool. So, just by seeing that, it tells me we're in the right direction. Gotcha? Gotcha. All right, cool. Let's see. Let's get caught up with you guys in the good old chat, shall we? Let's see. Oh, let's see. Andrew says, thinking of taking your idea with the BST unit. Oh, for the Hazel? Yeah, I would. But Rizel pack onto a Hazel or gigantic arm unit, still contemplating. Dude, don't muddy the waters, man. Just keep it focused. For a BST unit, like, you know, similar to the Hummingbird or the S version BST, man, you got to keep it focused, you know. The BST versions of mobile suits are quick hitters, you know. Fast in, fast out, cause as much damage as you can, or potentially recon, right? So why would it make sense to have a gigantic arm on something like that, you know? So for me, speed, the balance of speed and firepower for a BST unit. Look at the Hummingbird, right? Perfect example. Massive amounts of speed, huge cannon to cause as much damage as possible. The side cannons to cause even more damage, and then you've got your other secondary weapon to cause even more damage. right? So think about that, Andrew. You know, keep it focused. Keep it focused. If you want to do a BST unit out of that Hazel, man, you got to keep focused on what the BST units were originally designed for. Bailey says, GM Type C RX-7 8 Verkar, classic Katoki used all over. Yes, they are, and I love them. Let's see, main idea is to do 3. I have a BST DS thingy, Masala unit, and kind of maybe gigantic arm or Rizel. Man, leave the gigantic arm thing out of it. It just seems, I don't know, it seems cliche or gimmicky. You know what I mean? That's what I would say, anyways. Kenneth Sims, speaking of scratch building, any plans, Tim, be entering Cam's competition? No. I saw Cam's competition, and it looks really cool and everything, but nah. I got shit to do. I've got a ton of snapping to do, so I don't have time to come up with a custom mech to enter Cam's competition. Now, I would love to. I would love to kind of, dip my toes into that water and see what I could come up with, because I'm pretty sure I could come up with some pretty insane concepts for an original mech. So, yeah, I think it would be really, really cool, but yeah, there's just no time in it for me. There's just no time in it. Let's see. Hey, Flynn's with us. What's up, Flynn Burger? Yo, he says. Slacking at work. Nice. All the Aussies are slacking at work today. What's up with that? Andrew Young, it wasn't going to be a true gigantic arm unit. Something more psycho-y, more frazzle-dazzle. Because I was thinking have a team of 3 specialized Hazels. Yeah, what I would say, Andrew, is look at your classic teams of mobile suits. Your black TriStars, your white Dingoes. What else? The GM Customs team from 0083. I forget the name. But your classic teams, right? And then also look toward the works of Motu Asumi, because he specialized when he was back at Hobby Japan, specialized in a lot of team kind of builds, because he did the Dom Troll Brothers build. He did the Mad Dogs GM units. He did 2 of those. He did the 3 Storm Crows builds, and I mean he built those teams with subtle differences, subtle specialized differences, and that's gonna be a really good resource for you to focus on. He also did the Gelgoog Cyclone Brothers, which were these trick-ass Gelgoogs, all done in red and everything. Yeah, it's pretty sweet. Link me that guy. Dude, you're gonna have to search for him. MOTOOOSUMI. Because, like I said, he was in Hobby Japan back in the day. He doesn't have like Instagram or Facebook or anything like that I'm aware of. So you have to like Google image search, Pinterest, maybe find some old scans if you can of Hobby Japan's. Yeah. Gundam Weapons, the Gundam Weapons books and stuff like that from Hobby Japan. There's a ton of that in there. Oh, cool. Andrew says, I found it. Awesome. Yeah, look at his works, look at his teams, the subtleties and the differences. Just amazing work. He was probably my biggest influence. And honestly, I've taken a lot of visual cues from, Motu Asumi's work. So, yeah. You'll see a ton of visual similarities between my work and his, simply because I loved his work from day one, better than anybody. You know, even today, better than Naoki or, you know, somebody like that. I would still gravitate toward Moto Asumi, because he's just, in my eyes, he was a visual master, and he just had everything down pat. So, so there, bit of history for you guys watching. Moto Asumi, Motoosumi. Yes, Moto Asumi. Oh, look at that, Mac.net. Let's see what Andrew linked us to. Yeah, that's the Cyclone Edge. Yeah, the Cyclone Brothers. Yep, that's a good one. Too bad it's not a higher res, because there's so much nice detail in those things. Really, really good stuff. Really good stuff. So, all right, let's get back to camera 2. Let's get back to trimming these damn shoulders up, shall we? All right. So here we go. I'm going to trim these edges off here. I'm going to be ever so careful. And then this area here, I want to be super duper careful. Maybe get that going there. Use this edge here as a guide, and then that way we can hopefully not trim as much plastic off there as the other one, right? Leave a little meat on that bone, so to speak. That looks much better than the other one. Oh yeah, yeah. Let's do this here. Not bad. Not bad. Looks like I'm going to have to backfill some of that. A little bit more. But it's not as bad as the other one. So, easy. Easy stuff. Easy, easy, easy stuff. Whoa, hey now. Heisenflay. Thank you for the subscribe on YouTube. Appreciate that. Welcome to the family. And I like your username, by the way. Very good stuff. Yeah, Andrew Young, I dig the Mad Dogs. Yeah, the Mad Dogs are probably one of my favorites for him. Freddie Torres, Corey is working on your commission tonight. Ooh, seriously? I saw he went live just before the stream, but he's working on it tonight. Cool. I'll have to go back and see that, because, yeah, I'm excited over that. Super excited. Let's see, Flickr.com. Look at this. What do we got here? Is this the Mad Dogs? Yes. Look at that. Ugh. Super low resolution, though. That blows. Yeah. So, guys, for those of you on YouTube, Andrew linked to a couple of Moto Asumi's works online, and so a couple things that you guys might be able to see within his works are the strapping details that I've done. He was the one that kind of really originated strapping detail, right? And I kind of took that and just ran with it. Slightly better pics, not really. Let's see. Yeah, still very low res though, which sucks. And this was December 2001 and April 2002. So there you go. That's goes to show you how long ago he was modeling these things. So at the time, really kind of cutting edge modeling at the time. Commonplace stuff now, but back then, yeah, everybody was just like, man, this is sick. This is awesome. So, yeah, go if I can tell you guys right now, go after the stream, do more searching for Moto Asumi. His works are amazing. I absolutely adore every single one of them, and quite frankly, he's just a master in my opinion. Just the master. Love it. All right, back to work. Dean, parts counter low tonight, buddy, but we're getting meaningful shit done. All right. That is nice and flat there. Looking good. Looking good. Let's get these other sides trimmed up here. Let's see. Christian Herrera, he says, yo Tim, do you ever get anxious to finish your builds? If yes, how do you deal with that kind of anxiety, keeping in mind that life always gets in between you and the hobby? Man, that's a solid question, Christian. I'm very happy that you asked that. Because yeah, I do get anxious a lot, when doing builds, especially when I get near the end. You kind of get that, you kind of get around that, that final clear coat decal stage, and yeah, I mean, I just kind of start sweating bullets, to be honest with you. Reason being is because you're so late in the game, and you're so invested in whatever project that you're working on that you're scared to mess it up at that late stage. You're scared to waste all that time and work and just kind of fall flat on your face, right? I think probably a lot of people get anxious, scared and stuff like that. I think that's common. I think that's probably a lot more common than you would tend to believe. The worst part of a build for me, aside from masking, is final assembly. Just final assembly for me is absolutely nerve-wracking. Simply because, again, you've invested so much time, you've invested so much effort and so much creativity into whatever project that you're building. A lot of things can go wrong at that final assembly. The tolerances of fit and finish change, obviously, because of the different layers of primer, paint, clear coat, etc. And, that buildup of that material changes the way that parts fit together. So, you do have to, take that in consideration. You have to pre-plan for that. And, as long as you're really, really careful and you take your time, hopefully that final assembly will go smoothly. But again, man, it's still nerve-wracking. You don't want to scratch the paint. You don't want to drop it, for heaven's sakes. Yeah, and you don't quite know how everything is going to look together until it happens. Much the same with the Jesta. I had an idea in my mind how it was going to look, but I had no clue how it would compare to the actual tangible finished product, right? I'm happy to report that it came out pretty damn close to how I wanted it. Not perfect, but I love the look of it, right? So yeah, man, I think we all get a bit of anxiety when it comes to that, especially for those of us doing more than just straight building. So yeah, I think that's commonplace. I mean, what do you guys think? You know, for those of you in the chat, I know Kira Yet over there on Facebook, he said, me too. He said, originally I enjoyed Final Assembly, but I started to paint my models. So there you go. You know, that's another person. And Kira says, but the paint was scratched out easily because the part can stick properly if pressed in softly. Yeah, so what I think Kira's trying to say is, you know, if you try to brute force that thing in there, it's just bad things will happen, right? So yeah, it can be an anxiety builder. Let's put it that way, right? Kira, I got you, man. Don't worry about it. I knew what you were talking about. Kira Yet, man, he's the resident evil scientist in training, you guys over there on Facebook. Shout out to Kira Yet. Kira, I hope school is going well for you, brother. Sorbon Zero over there on Twitch, he says, I have yet to have a Final Assembly go right. Yeah. Freddie Torres, yeah, Final Assembly is nerve-wracking. Andrew Young, LOL, I love it because that's when I see everything together finally. Yeah, I mean, Andrew, I think from what it seems like is kind of a, you know, more of a special case at this point because everybody else was kind of saying like, yeah, it's a bit of a nervous practice, but yeah, when we get in those later stages, you're just scared of fucking it up. And that's with anything, really, you know? So there you go. Ask the Saints. That was a fucked up call, too. Oh, man. And I have no skin in these games at all at this point. So, there you go. But yeah, dude, Christian, great question, man. Great question. Let's see. Damn, I dig that gun cannon. RF Aurora. Andrew 2. Ooh, Bailey posted a flicker of Moto Asumi. Oh, yeah, the flight type. That's so nice. Yes. The flight type gun cannon. Now, for those of you guys watching on Twitch and Facebook, Bailey over on YouTube, we're looking, kind of posting works of Moto Asumi. One of, in my opinion, the great modelers of our times, and just an amazing catalog of work. So yeah, Bailey, good find there, buddy. Good find there. Yeah, so that's what we're looking on. Andrew Young says, I'm not crazy on his Xeon kits, his GM and gun cannons, though. Yeah, really good. Dwidget, Moto Asumi. Thank you, Dwidget. Therno Hobbies and Games, for those of you playing on Facebook. Go check out Therno. Ultraman Dino, what's up, man? Just made it. Bailey, I'm working on a Gelgoog now, but did not like the direction he took with the Cyclone Team Googs. Yeah, I mean, I think it's a varied taste. Me personally, I love everything that he's done, except for very, very few pieces. So yeah. Zach Heflin is watching over there on YouTube. What's up, Zach? He says, "What's up, Tim? The Spartan is looking sweet." Thank you, man. Appreciate that. Appreciate that. Spider 2K2, James 2. Good evening, everyone. Just got home from work and driving in that crazy high winds today in New Jersey, PA, NY area. Dude, yeah. Crazy cold, too. Andrew Young, I want to do a Gelgoog. I need to go back to the Zeonic route. Dweja Tim, here's slightly a better resolution. Cool. Oh, yeah, look at that. Oh, no, wait. That's not his. That is someone who... I remember this. Okay, this is... Yeah, this is way back. 2010. let's see. Hi guys, this is a very old project. One last 2009. Took me a while to finish. Yeah, I remember seeing this. This is one of my favorite MG conversions with the orange vest, blah blah blah. Japanese modeler who really inspired me. Credit goes to him. Yeah, so that's actually a pretty decent take on a pretty good facsimile, shall we say, of Motu's work. Yeah, dude from the Philippines. That's actually not bad. Not perfect, but it's high quality stuff. Yeah. Oops, wrong guy. Yeah, but close. Absolutely. Absolutely. Space Rat 53 working on the P Bandai HGUC Act Zaku, just doing a straight build since it's one of my favorite Xeon mobile suit designs. I also got the HGUC Cassilia Forces Act Zaku I'm working to use for Kit Bash. Sweet. Nice. Andrew Young, yeah, def not too crazy on the Xeon stuff he did, but the GM and gun cannons are solid. Man, you just don't have good taste, brother. R4, I freak out during final assembly. Yeah. Spider 2K2, it is nerve-wracking when even working with Alclad paints on final assembly. Yeah, see, there you go. Freddy Torres, Rams bandwagon for life. Definitely. You better believe it. Better believe it. The nation is like Rams country at this point. It just happened overnight. But anyway. Andrew Young. Alright, I gotta go to bed. I'm tired. My sleep schedule was like a normal person's and not a college student's. Jeez. Bailey. Oh, the one on Fitch and Foos forum. Yeah, yeah. Spider 2K2, Ola Gambo Samu, I hope you are enjoying the show. Okay, I don't know who that is. Anyway. Machine Linguist, I just got here and it's over. Not yet. Andrew's going to bed, but I'm not. We still got a half an hour, man. We're still doing stuff. So, yeah. No, I was just reading a comment by Andrew over on YouTube, but no. We're still rolling. We're still rolling, so fear not. We still got about a half hour of this. Good stuff. All right, so back to trimming Machine Linguist. Oops, my bad. Haha. It's all good. It's all good. You know what? I think that if I came in at the same time you did, I probably would have thought that too, as I read Andrew's goodnight message. So no, completely understandable. Yeah. Kira Yet over there on Facebook, he says, new question. I had started to do more on my Gunpla like painting and scratch building. I would like to ask, will you assemble the Gunpla first and then separate the parts for the extra work? Yeah. So kind of my process, Kira, is to snap build the entire kit first, right? Similar to this Jesta, right? I was lucky enough I had a second Jesta while building my other one that I could refer to at all times. I just kept him, you know, assembled, just sitting on the desk or something like that. Not everybody will have that luxury, obviously, but yeah. So what I do is I snap build everything first, kind of look at how the pieces move, any structural deficiencies, any places for build up that I could potentially take advantage of, all sorts of stuff, places for modifications, places for scratch building, you know, connection points, things like that. You know, you get an idea of what you want to build in your mind, right? And you kind of start to formulate that, and then based on the kit that you have in your hand, you know, like this Jesta, Twitch says, oh hey Tim, need a master grade Jesta cannon. Perhaps. Message me, dude. Thurno, message me, man. So you start to build up an idea of what you want to have in your head, right? And then based on that assembly, then you start to disassemble, right? and then you start to work on the different parts. And obviously, you know, we're working on, you know, the shoulder here for this GM Sniper 2 conversion, right? So yeah, so I will snap the entire thing together first and then break it down. So, yep, that's what I do. Good question though, Kira. Good question. Always good questions from Kira. He's learning, everybody. He's learning. He's watching and learning, and I like that. I like that a lot. Oops, on camera would be good, right? Let's see. Twitch says, anyone interested in buying a new inbox Deep Striker for $145 plus shipping? I got one, man, or else I would. Let's see. Okay. Gabasumu Vlad Kubopolis. Holy shit. I hope I'm not butchering your name, but welcome. Pretty cool. James with the shout out there, man. Dwidget said, okay, I saw that. Machine Linguist, I'm over there on Twitch. He says, I'm building a kit, made some customizations to it before doing airbrushing, and the final product of that part just looks super rough and unfinished. Yeah, so the main thing when you're doing customizations and alterations or scratch building or what have you is the finish to the plastic, right? So for something like this, where I've plated this up angle by angle, piece by piece, there's going to be definite, you know, deficiencies in the seams and things like that, right? So right along in here, and you guys might be able to see kind of the glare that picks up, right? So there are tiny, tiny little air hole kind of bubbles in here, and then there's a nice kind of seam right here that needs to be filled in. So when you're working with custom parts and things like that, you know, fit and finish is absolutely paramount, even more important on those parts than on your stock parts, because stock parts obviously are designed to fit together perfectly with no problems, yada, yada, yada. Custom parts, not so much, right? So that's why I say, you know, you really need to pay special attention to you know, the customizations, the alterations that you make to your kit, because that's where the surface deficiencies are going to come into play more so, right? Yeah, so for something like this, I'd probably go through a few rounds of, you know, fill with super glue, sand it down, prime it, check again, fill with super glue, sand it down, prime it again, check, check, check. That's a normal process for something, you know, along this style, where you're building up something that is not, you know, is not stock. Let's put it that way, right? So, surface preparation, man. Surface preparation is absolutely paramount. So yeah, man, go back. You know, prime the part, go back, sand it down again, because when you sand down a primered piece, and you've got that, you know, completely sanded off, any parts that you see that are still hanging on are basically crevices or, you know, dips in the surface. Go back in, use super glue or whatever, you know, that you feel like, and fill that in. Prime it again, you know, sand it down smooth, what you can see. Prime it again. If you still see kind of a deficiency in there, just keep adding on to it. Keep that surface, you know, keep filling in that surface until it's perfectly and just kind of baby butt smooth. That's what, you know, that's what I would suggest, and that's what I kind of do all the time with you know, custom parts and stuff like that. And that's just a normal process for somebody that does these types of things. So hopefully that helps, man. But yeah, good question. Machine Linguist says, I see, that is very clear. I'm using Vallejo primer. Ah, you're killing me with the Vallejo primer. All right, so let's talk about this for a second, because I think right there, that right there is probably a sticking point. Let me explain machining linguists. So Vallejo primer is, what is it, an acrylic polycarbonate primer, something like that, right? Yeah, Bailey says, LOL, Vallejo primer. So Vallejo primer, for those of you that don't know, machining linguist, trust me, I'll explain everything in just a second. So Vallejo primer is an acrylic-based primer, for those of you that don't know, as opposed to your Tamiya Fine L or your Mr. Surfacer, which is a solvent-based lacquer, for lack of a better word, based primer. Those primers bite into the plastic a lot more. Let's go back to one camera so I can actually talk to you guys. Those style of primer actually bite in, chemically bond with the plastic, right? So they're much more resilient. Vallejo primer is great for like minis, you know, like the little like Warhammer minis and stuff like that, because they usually tend not to. You usually don't tend to customize those. Some guys do. Some guys go crazy with those things, and they make these insanely gorgeous looking minis. But most of the time, you're just painting, right? So with minis, with the varied textures of chainmail and crevices and nooks and crannies that primer can latch onto and hold onto, that amount of surface area, it's a great primer for that type of model or miniature, what have you. For Gunpla, with, you know, flat open surfaces with less amount of surface area to grasp onto, it just sits on top there, right? Now, the other thing about Vallejo primer is it's not a sandable primer. Basically, it just sits there, and hopefully you don't breathe on it badly, right? Because if you do, it'll just scrape right off. So that's, you know, that's the issue with Vallejo primer. It's a very, very weak style primer. Bailey says if he needs acrylic, Tim, tell him just get Badger Stylin Res. Yes, I've heard great things about Stylin Res, or Ammo One Shot. Yes, Bailey, over here on YouTube. Sorry. Best acrylic primer, sticks to surface almost as good as lacquer primers. Yeah, and machining linguist, for those if you don't know, Bailey over here on Bailey over here on YouTube. He's, you know, one of my mods over here on YouTube. He is like the man when it comes to acrylic based painting and stuff. I'm more of a lacquer based guy. Yeah, okay. And machining linguist. So he's machining linguist over on Twitch. He says, I have kids, so I try to stick with lower VOC stuff, but I use a lot of Tamiya. Exactly. Bailey's in the exact same situation, right? So many commonalities. But again, Vallejo primer sucks. In best case scenarios, you won't be able to sand it because it'll just kind of flake. Worst case scenarios is that'll peel off of your part like tape off a roll. I've had that happen to me. And if you go searching online and in forums and stuff like that, there are many other people that have experienced that as well. I don't know if it's just bad formulations or what have you, but it's a chance that I was never willing to take again. So that's why I had like one of those big bottles. I used it once, saw what it did. I chucked the rest in the garbage. I wasn't even gonna mess with it, right? Oh, here we go. George Hale, 1984, machining linguist on Twitch, switched over since he seems to be the source of the stream. Yes. So, you know, we go all three, but the majority of people talking and stuff seem to be on YouTube. So that's where you're going to get a lot of great information. But Bailey in the chat, like I said, he's the man when it comes to acrylic-based stuff. So from what he said, Badger Styling Res and MIG Ammo One Shot are going to be really good acrylic-based primers. Yeah, I would definitely switch to those for future builds. Because I know Bailey, he's had a great success with both of those. Now, another another key factor into getting primer to adhere to your pieces really well, again, like I said before, is proper surface preparation, right? So when you go, especially with customizing pieces, you need to sand that down nice and smooth. But then after you've got that all done, you need to, you know, basically decontaminate the pieces, because any residual dust from sanding, any body oils transferred from your fingers to the pieces can adversely affect primer and paint adherence, especially with acrylics. With lacquers, it's still very much a very big factor, but slightly less. Acrylics, you absolutely have to have perfect perfect surface preparation. So what I would highly suggest, and what I've said a lot on the streams, is to soak your parts in 91% isopropyl alcohol, you know, just overnight. And so what that'll do is to decontaminate everything from your parts. It will, you know, it'll wash them of any sort of, you know, sanding dust that might be left over, any body oils. It will, you know, get those off of there. And then once you pull those out, use some gloves, like some, you know, rubber gloves or nitrile gloves or what have you. And then your parts will be absolutely pristine for the next step in terms of priming and then painting and stuff like that. So yeah, man, surface preparation is probably one of, if not the most important steps in terms of model making. It can make and break the look of your model. So, man, hopefully that helps, man. Hopefully that helps. Gizmo Congumpla. One of the things I'm now considering to get is a dehumidifier. I thought his was I don't know. Yeah, I thought his was just like a dehydrator, like a food dehydrator, but in a different orientation from mine. I kind of like mine, the look of mine, better because it has the stacking trays on it. And you know, it has like 4 or 5 different trays. You can load a ton of parts on that thing. But yeah, dude, Gizmo, Jonathan, yeah, man, it's a no-brainer, especially when it comes to decals, dude. Because, like I said, and you'll see on the Jesta, I don't have, and I think this is probably the first time that I've ever achieved this, I don't have a single silver decal on this entire thing. Not a one. And I was shocked by that. Because usually I'll have like 1 or 2, maybe, right? Just to be honest with you. And, you know, there are ways to fix that, and I do. But your initial kind of out of the decal stage, you might have like 1 or 2 silvering decals, but I didn't have a single one on this piece, and I was super happy about that. And a lot of that, I think, is dedicated to the dehydrator. You know, letting them, just sitting them in there, you know, not turned on for a day, and then let the moisture, you know, dissipate from there, but then switching that puppy on the second day and just letting them cook on there, right? And it just makes it all buttery and soft and smooth, and man, you can't even see the edges at this point. You can't. Yeah. Sorry, another tease for you guys. Ultraman Dinah asks, what causes silvering on a decal? And Bailey replied there, air pockets. Yes, residual air that's caught underneath of the decal. Now, bunch of reasons why that could happen. Most of the time, it's a rough surface. There's Bailey. Look at him. He's Johnny on the spot, man. Typically an uneven surface underneath the decal. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So there you go. Well, let's scroll back up here just real quick, because I know I missed some stuff from our friend George Hale over there. Let's see. Half Sight says Badger One Shot and UMP primer are, from what I understand, all the same thing with different labels. Bailey says that's right. Kuko 305, yep, just gave up and a project due to acrylics. It might be due to weather/humidity in Miami and my AC, so gonna call it a lesson and try to lacquer paints. Yeah, humidity is going to play a factor in your paint and primer, and especially your clear coat. No matter what you use, acrylics to a little bit more extent, because they're more affected by water content, which obviously moisture in the air is humidity. But lacquers are not bulletproof to humidity either, especially solvent-based clear coats. Those can fog up. So yeah, you need to be a bit careful with them. So yeah. So George Hale 1984 says, all right, I'll try to price them around on domestic suppliers. There we go. Yeah. Bailey says it's Badger's product. Mig Jimenez for ammo and Ultimate Modeling Products rebottles it. There you go. RF Aurora Andrew 2, I got a 3-pack of the Badger primer. Looking forward to working with it. There you go. George Hale, all right. Oh, no, the next one. So you figure Badgers be the cheapest source. Surface Prep, boy, I'm completely in the dark here, left and right. So glad I stumbled across your stream. Nice. Well, hey, keep coming back, man. You'll learn a ton. Trust me. Bailey says, be careful with those 3-packs. Did you get it from Amazon? They had issues with it because Amazon stored it in a warehouse with no climate control. I heard about that too. A lot of people were pissed off about that, and they had like sludge in a bottle, basically. Not a good thing. Not a good thing. Excuse me. Bailey says, if you're in the George Hale, if you're in the U.S., go to Spray Gunner. Yeah, there you go. It was on Amazon. RF Aurora says, George Hale 1984. Oh, I just bought stuff from Spray Gunner. There you go. GizmoCon Gunpla. Oh, we already read Jonathan's comment there. George Hale 1984. I'll try to nab the 3-pack from him. I've been dropping my airbrush into a sonic cleaner with diluted Windex. Is that going to hurt it too much? I would probably switch to 91% isopropyl alcohol. You can find it in pretty much any drugstore, convenience store, grocery store, and it's very inexpensive. It's you can get a bottle yay big for about $3-4. So roughly the price of Windex, right? The thing with Windex is that it has ammonia in it, and that could potentially eat away at any nickel plating that you have in your airbrush. It's most airbrushes, higher quality airbrushes, it's not the end of the world if you use Windex in it, or something with ammonia, but I mean, I wouldn't necessarily continue to use it on a regular basis. Now, 91% isopropyl alcohol, on the other hand, that is perfectly safe for everything, basically. Except for, cuts and bruises. You put that stuff on there and it burns like a Dickens. But, it's perfectly safe for plastic, metal, your skin, everything. So that's what I would suggest to use rather than Windex. Like I said, you're going to see about the same price, price per ounce or whatever, as you do with Windex. So there's not really a monetary discrepancy there. So yeah, I would switch to that, and it's perfectly safe to use in your sonic cleaner too. Let's see. A Schultz, check you guys later. Gotta sleep. Take care, B. Ultraman Dino, what causes silvering on a decal? We already read that. So cool. Let's get down to the bottom here. Coco 305, can you show the brand you use for your builds? I don't think I have any in here at the moment. No, it's the clear coat that I use for mine is Mr. Super Clear. It comes in the gray can, and I use gloss and matte for a final clear coat. So yeah, Mr. Super Clear. That's what I use. Need to have a pretty impeccable gloss layer for decals. Yeah. It was glossy as shit. I'm gonna tell you that right now. It was glossy. Kenneth Sim probably can sand down slightly with 1500 grit and coat it again. Absolutely, yeah, you can. Smooth that, buttery surface. Yeah, you get some 3000 grit in there, really make it shine. Yeah. It'll be good. It'll be good. Bailey says, again, armor modelers seem to not give a shit. I've seen them apply water slides directly onto matte finish paint. Yeah, I've seen the same thing. I mean, I don't know, man. I don't know about all that. So, for me, I'd rather play it safe, lay down a gloss coat, be done with it, right? Because you can add your flat and matte coats later on. So yeah. Curiette says, talking about decals, how can I make the real grade type decal stick more properly on the surface? Are you? I don't know. I mean, are you talking about the stickers, like the ones with the adhesive backing? Because there's not really much you'll be able to do with those. I'll be straight and honest with you. You're at the mercy of the adhesive on the back of the stickers. And I'll be honest with you, Kira, I would throw away the stickers anyways and switch to decals, water slide decals. Water slide decals, you use like a setting solution, like what do I use? Decal. There's decal set. There's Solva set. There's Mr. Decal set. There's a whole slew of decal setting liquids that you can use, and essentially what it is, once it dries, it acts as glue for the decal. It basically holds it on to the piece a lot better, and it just it does a really good job. So, George Hair 1984, yeah, I use it right now to clean up overbrush on kits. The 91% isopropyl alcohol go on pure or diluted. Pure. Use pure. It's rock solid. Rock solid. Thanks, I didn't know what would be safe, so I diluted it a lot. Yeah. And straight Windex is perfectly fine too, especially on plastic and stuff. And it'll get that paint out of there really well. So, yeah. Let's see. Bailey can get ammonia-free Windex. Yeah, that's probably a good call. Or Glass Plus, which is already ammonia-free, but I've been using a 91 IPA to great effect. Best stuff. Yeah. A lot of us do that, and it's so inexpensive, and it just leaves the surface. You can use it for so many different purposes too. You can strip pieces with it. You can clean your airbrush with it. All that stuff, right? So really, really good stuff. I would highly recommend it. George Taylor says, that's great news because IPA is great on Tamiya. Yes, it is. Yes, it just rips it right off. Hot knife through butter action. Yeah. Freddie Torres says, Corey is about to start on the Hummingbird. Oh, yeah. Bailey says, no, use it straight in the airbrush, but alcohol strips just about all types of paint, so take care. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Once he finishes his break. Nice. I'm excited. I'll have to go watch afterwards. Ultraman Dyna asked this earlier, but got drowned with all subsequent comments. I thought you said that you had purchased a new cutting mat and that you would be replacing the one you have on your bench. Yes, I do. It's actually sitting over there in the corner, the gray one. I have it, and what I think I'm going to do, because this this whole shit, this whole studio is a damn pigsty right now, right? I absolutely need to get in here one day or one weekend even and just go Mr. Belvedere in here and just clean the hell out of this place. Reorganize everything. You know, put the tools back into, you know, their bins and stuff like that. Clean everything. And then that, I think, is when I'm going to break out the new mat. Because if I was to put that down right now, I'd just basically be throwing everything everywhere. And that would just cause even more mess. Let's put it that way, right? But yes, I did get a new cutting mat back a couple months ago, maybe even longer. Shit, I don't know. But yeah, it's sitting over there in the corner. So yeah, soon. Once I get started, I think I'll do that once I actually get started working and streaming on the GBWC build. So, yep, that's going to happen. Half-Site heading out later this week for ISO to strip a kit. There we go. Kira, yet while everybody start going to sleep, I am here training to become an evil scientist. Yes. Or known as attending the classes. Awesome. Kira, I love you, man. You're the greatest. Bailey says microset and microsol. Yes. Cuckoo305, can you mess up your kit / paint with a dehydrator? I don't think so. You just gotta have some special care with it. I think you know, because a lot of dehydrators will have temperature settings, right? And for me, I don't want to go super high because you could run the risk of deforming the plastic, right? So I think I set mine to 105 degrees, which is well below the melting point of any sort of plastic or anything like that. Yeah, just make sure your temperature is set to a common sense setting, but after that, you should be perfectly fine. GizmoCon Gunpla, time for a workbench studio cleaning / remodel, right? It's definitely going to be a reorganization. Let's put it that way. So this whole thing is getting reorganized and cleaned up. All the plastic strips and tubes and everything that I just kind of have piled here, those will go back in the packaging. You guys can't see it, but I've got a ton of shit underneath of the monitor on this side, and then I've got another area of the table over here, and the just a base is currently sitting there with some other things, and you know, tools spread all over the damn place. And you guys saw it when we walked around the studio back several streams ago. But you saw the condition of the workbench. You saw the backlog stacked up over here. That nothing has changed, guys. Nothing of that has changed. It's still sitting there. You saw the mess that's in the photography booth, the light booth over there, and everything. So yeah, this place is a mess. It needs to be cleaned up, and I have to. I want to get out from under the Jesta first. That for me is priority at this point. So once I get out from under that, then I can really kind of focus on other things, and hopefully by that time, more of the GBWC kits will start to flow in as well. So we'll see. We'll see. Dweja says, and I'm here training to be able to sell all your evil contraptions. Nice. Love it. Let's see. Freddie Torres, and he started. Ooh, nice. Ooh, and look at that. It's 12:02. We might have to raid him. We might have to raid him. Not rape him. Raid him. Let's see. George Hale, 1984, says, anyone mind weighing in on ideal sandpaper grit intervals I have? I used to use a few, but had too many and was a frustrating mess, so I switched to just cutting nubs with knives, but painting needs sanding. Yeah. And Bailey says 600, 800, 1,000 if you want 15,000 or 1,500. Yeah, I would absolutely agree with that. I also use 400 just for rough, straight roughing and smoothing and stuff like that. But then I absolutely then work up, to about 800 or 1,000 sometimes. 1,500, I would say use that for really getting a fine surface. And then at that point, you're getting into wet sand territory. And we've touched base on wet sanding many times in the past, and we'll touch base with it again in the future. So especially for George, wet sanding, use wet style sandpaper. It gives you a much smoother finish without the dust and everything, and it's a better process. So there's that. Kira, I also have the yellow screw set on your desk. The yellow screw set on my desk. Eh? I don't know what you're talking about, Kira. I don't know, man. But I'll take your word for it. Let's see. Twitch says, I need links, my dude. Nice. Yeah, there it is. 480 tours. Awesome. Most important, Tim, must add some fans near your work table. Yeah, well, the thing is that when the heat is on, the vent is right above me. It's an unfortunate... Oh! These. Gotcha. Sorry. When you said bench or desktop or whatever, I thought you meant like what's on camera. So, but technically that's on camera too, right? So there you go. Good eye, Kira. Jeez. But yeah, so Kenneth, I think it has to do more with the vent, and the heat just came on, and I have the vent closed sometimes, well, most of the times as well. So it is what it is. Bailey says, yeah, I use 400 to 240 when scratch building. Jeez, you're a braver man than I am, Bailey. I'm going to tell you that right now. Jeweler's files. Yeah, you know what? When I want to get rough and really get a ton of material gone, that's when I get the bastard file out and I really go to town on this. This thing is worth its weight in gold to me. I don't know about y'all, but I love that thing. Bailey says jeweler's files. Cut 2 and 4, sometimes 6. Nice. George Hale, if I was going minimalist supplies because of limited workspace and storage, what's a good all-in-one solution for sanding implements? Paper, sponge, or sticks? So for me, if you're getting into customizing, scratch building, stuff like that, and if you're getting into like larger pieces, a good big old 6-inch bastard file, like I said, worth its weight in gold. These little jeweler's files are great as well. I love these things. And then just some miscellaneous sheets of sandpaper. What I do is to cut them down into like little strips, right, that you can fold in half and then just go to work on them. And then once you're done with these, just toss them and cut a few more, right? And so that's what I would suggest. Yeah. Bailey says, I like MadWorks sponges. Yeah, MadWorks 3M. Those are good on curved surfaces. You have to be careful with them on flat surfaces, obviously, because you can round over that corner, and you don't want that, especially on Fetty suits. So, yeah. So there we go. Alrighty. You guys, it's past midnight. We're gonna call it a night, and I'm gonna go raid Corey's Twitch channel with mine. So strap in. I've never done this before, so hopefully I can figure it out, right? So if you guys want to switch to Twitch or whatever, and go and watch Corey draw my hummingbird, like I'm going to, yeah, it's going to be awesome. It's going to be awesome. But in the meantime, if you guys want this cool-ass Mecha shirt, hit up chadamecha.com, hit the store button at the top. You will be transported to the store where you will see hats and bags and all sorts of other stuff in there. Shirts, obviously. Got some new hats on order. Very excited about those. One of them is a Titans Test Team hat. Yes. So those are in process. I'll show you those when they come in. Very excited about them. So yeah, hit that up if you guys are interested in the tools and materials and stuff like that we've used tonight. There's a link just below on YouTube and on Twitch. Over here if you're on Facebook. And then we've also got some really cool books on that Amazon link for inspiration, camera gear for streaming if you want to get into that, all that good stuff. So yeah, so we're going to be back here on Wednesday. No slacking this week. No slacking this week. We're going to be back here on Wednesday. We're going to continue building and just keep pumping out good shit, right? So, please come back. I will see you then. Thanks for everything. The Dwidget says Corey's channel, Links53 on Twitch. I'll go to my channel and then I'll rate him and then you guys can just follow into that. Hopefully, like I said, hopefully I can figure that out. So, George Hale says, thanks for the advice, man. Have a good night. You too, George. Thanks for stopping by. Come on back and see us on Wednesday, 10 p.m. Eastern, every Monday, Wednesday, Friday. So, all right, guys. Thank you very much. We'll see you next time. Take care. Build something cool. Be safe out there, guys. And keep warm if you're in the Northeast. All right? It's dangerous out there.